Rain lashed down, relentless and unforgiving. The sky was a dark, swirling mass of clouds, and the sound of thunder echoed through the air, shaking the ground beneath. Every drop seemed to fall harder than the last, drenching everything in its path and turning the world into a blur of grey and silver. The storm showed no signs of stopping, and the air was thick with the scent of wet earth and fear. The little family of cats huddled together, terrified. Their fur was soaked, clinging to their small bodies, and their eyes were wide with panic. Each flash of lightning made them flinch, and the roar of the wind seemed to grow louder with every passing moment. They pressed close to one another, seeking comfort in the warmth of their family, but the cold and the fear were hard to escape. Mama Cat, sleek and strong despite the storm, shielded her 3 kittens with her body. She curled herself around them, her tail wrapped protectively over their backs, trying to block out the rain and wind. Her eyes darted around, searching for any sign of safety, but all she saw was water and chaos. She knew she had to be brave for her kittens, even as fear gnawed at her heart. The storm had turned their world into a raging river. What was once familiar ground was now a swirling torrent, sweeping away everything in its path. The water rushed past with terrifying speed, carrying debris and mud, and the sound of it crashing against obstacles was deafening. The cats' home, once a safe haven, was now surrounded by danger on all sides. The wooden platform they called home was barely afloat. It creaked and shifted with every wave, threatening to break apart at any moment. The cats clung to it desperately, their claws digging into the wet wood as they tried to keep from slipping into the churning water below. The platform was their only refuge, but it felt as fragile as a leaf in a storm. The kittens mewed pitifully, their tiny bodies shivering from the cold and fear. Their cries were almost lost in the roar of the storm, but Mama Cat heard every one. She licked their heads, trying to soothe them, but her own heart was pounding with worry. The little ones looked up at her, trusting her to keep them safe, even as the world around them seemed to fall apart. The water swirled higher, threatening to engulf them. Each minute the flood crept closer, licking at the edges of the platform and rising up the cat's legs. The current was strong, and the rain kept falling, relentless and cold. The family was running out of time, and the sense of danger grew with every heartbeat. Mama Cat knew they wouldn't last much longer. She looked around desperately, searching for any sign of help or higher ground, but there was nothing but water and darkness. Her instincts screamed at her to protect her kittens, but she was trapped, just as they were. Still, she refused to give up hope, determined to keep her family together no matter what. They were trapped, with nowhere to go. The floodwaters surrounded them on all sides, and escape seemed impossible. Yet in the midst of the storm, the little family clung to each other, holding on to hope as the world raged around them. Through the relentless curtain of rain, a solitary figure slowly emerged, barely visible against the storm's grey backdrop. Each step was heavy, water splashing around their boots, as thunder rumbled overhead. The world seemed to shrink to the sound of falling rain and the distant cries of animals in distress. In that moment, hope felt as fragile as a single candle flickering in the wind. Standing at the edge of her yard, a young girl with blonde hair, her face etched with deep concern, watched the desperate plight of the cats huddled together for warmth and safety. The animals, soaked and shivering, clung to each other on a small makeshift platform, their eyes wide with fear as the water crept ever closer. The girl's heart pounded in her chest, torn between fear and determination. Her name was Lily, and she was known in her neighborhood for her gentle spirit and boundless compassion for all living things. As she gazed at the helpless creatures, her heart ached with empathy. She could feel their terror as if it were her own, and she knew she couldn't simply stand by and watch them suffer. The rain stung her cheeks, but she refused to look away. Lily realized she had to act fast. The floodwater was rising rapidly, swirling around the platform where the frightened cats were stranded. With every passing second, the current grew stronger, threatening to sweep the animals away. Panic surged through her, but she forced herself to think clearly. There was no time to waste. If she hesitated, it might be too late to save them. Without a second thought, Lily turned and raced back toward her house, her shoes slipping in the mud as she ran. Her mind raced with ideas, searching desperately for a way to rescue the stranded cats before the floodwaters claimed them. The storm raged on, but Lily's determination burned brighter than ever, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. Lily's eyes fell upon her dad's toolbox. An idea sparked in her mind. She grabbed an old plastic tub, sturdy and spacious. Next, she found some rope, strong and long enough to reach the platform. Lily's heart pounded with determination. She rushed back to the flood, her makeshift raft in tow. She would save them. She had to. Lily waded into the churning water, her heart pounding in her chest as she took in the devastation around her. The floodwaters surged relentlessly, swirling with debris and mud, but her eyes remained fixed on the terrified cats stranded ahead. Each step was a battle, her boots sinking into the muddy ground beneath the surface, but she refused to let fear slow her down. The cries of the animals echoed above the roar of the water, fueling her determination. The current was strong, threatening to sweep her off her feet at any moment, but Lily pushed forward, muscles straining as she dragged the plastic tub behind her. The tub bobbed and jerked in the water, sometimes slipping from her grasp, but she held on tightly, knowing it was the only hope for the cats. Every inch forward felt like a small victory against the raging flood. Reaching the half-submerged platform, Lily knelt down, her hands trembling from cold and adrenaline. She spoke softly, her voice calm and reassuring, as she gently coaxed Mama Cat and her shivering kittens into the tub. The cats hesitated, their eyes wide with fear, but Lily's gentle touch and soothing words gave them the courage to trust her. Carefully, she made sure each kitten was safe and secure before preparing for the return journey. The journey back was even harder. The weight of the tub, now filled with frightened, mewing cats, made every step more difficult. Lily's legs ached and exhaustion threatened to overwhelm her, but she refused to give in. The water seemed deeper, the current stronger, and every movement required all her strength and focus. The rain beat down mercilessly, soaking her to the bone and blurring her vision. Water tugged at Lily's legs, swirling around her knees and threatening to pull her off balance. The relentless downpour made the world feel smaller, more dangerous. But Lily pressed on, her mind focused on the precious lives she carried. With every step, she gripped the rescue rope tighter, her knuckles white with effort. The rope was her lifeline, guiding her through the chaos and giving her the strength to keep moving. Her resolve was unwavering, fueled by the knowledge that these animals depended on her. She blocked out the cold, the fear, and the fatigue, focusing only on reaching safety. She wouldn't let them down. No matter how perilous the journey, Lily was determined to bring every last cat to safety, proving that even in the darkest moments, compassion and courage can shine through. Finally, Lily reached dry ground. She pulled the tub to safety, her heart overflowing with relief. The kittens, shaken but safe, snuggled into their mother. Mama Cat purred gratefully, her eyes shining with gratitude. Wrapped in warm towels, safe in Lily's loving care, the cats recovered quickly. They had faced danger and survived, thanks to the courage of a kind and determined young girl.